Jerry Maynard II. I'm Councilman at Large here in Davidson County in the great state of Tennessee. As a Councilman at Large, there are 40 council persons. 35 are elected by districts, which has about 15,000 to 19,000 voters. And then they have 5 council persons at large who are elected countywide. And I was elected back in 2007, so I'm a council member at large, and the council is responsible for all of the business of the Davidson County, to include everything from potholes to finance. In Nashville, the people are so welcoming and the hospitality is incredible. And I had a lot of preconceived notions of Nashville that proved to be wrong. And what I found out is you've got Vanderbilt, you've got Fisk University, Meharry, Tennessee State University, Belmont, David Lipscomb, American Baptist College. I mean, this truly has so many universities and colleges and has such a diverse economy. And I found out that Nashville is a very progressive city, a very nice city. We have our problems now, don't get me wrong, but I found out that I had a lot of preconceived notions that were false. We deal with right now is you deal with classism, and you deal with socioeconomic issues, and more importantly, you deal with those who have and those who do not have, those who have a voice and those who do not have a voice. As an elected official, what I find out is that what government does is government protects those who help put them in office. And so there are a lot of people who don't have a voice, and because those persons don't have a voice, because they did not contribute to campaigns, because they did not vote in high numbers in their particular areas, and because maybe they don't have the capacity or the sophistication of how to get their voice heard, they don't have influence. My job as a council member at large is to represent those persons who may not have a voice. So when it comes to health care, I fight extremely hard to make sure we have a public safety net hospital system that provides health care for anybody, regardless of their ability to pay. When it comes to people and living wage, when it comes to fighting for people like who are just totally disenfranchised. We have an unemployment rate in some areas is 25%. So I'm fighting for those folks, and I'm fighting for working families. I've always been a community activist. I used to call myself a hellraiser. I was a hellraiser in college. I was a hellraiser in law school. I was a hellraiser in the Army. And everywhere I saw injustice, I felt like I had to take up the banner. If there was anybody who was the underdog, I was always fighting for them. I was ready to fight, and there was no fight that I would back away from. And so I was a community activist, and I was raising these issues as a private citizen. And one day I went to the mayor's office several years ago, and I said, listen, you guys are providing $3 million for economic development, commercial development, residential development in this area of town, but this other area of town, we've looked at it for over 25 years, it's been ignored. Why? And the mayor said to me, your council persons didn't ask for anything, and I'm not going to carry the water for them. So I said, okay. So I decided at that point in time I was going to run for office, because I was not going to continue to blame somebody else for the lack of leadership that we had. One of the problems that we have in certain communities is that we vote with our feet, we stay home. A lot of people have given up hope, and their apathy really is that we don't care who we elect, nothing's going to change for us. In this area of town, or for this area of town, or for this segment of population, things aren't going to change for us, so why should we go out and vote? And what happens is many times politicians will come in, they will see them once every 4 years, asking for their vote, nothing changes. And so what I've had to do is go out and say, listen, things will change. You must vote. And I've been telling them, and this is my quote, if you ain't at the table, you're probably on the menu. And so your community is going to get eaten up, left behind, because you're not at the table. And the best way to be at the table is to vote and contribute and to work and to volunteer. Even when I was young, trying to save the world, my mother's always said, ever since I came out of the womb, I was trying to save somebody, trying to save the world. I just, what I do is, I never feel, I don't know if it's lack of self-love or whatever, but I never feel that I've done enough. And I feel kind of like I failed. When I see a kid walking down the street like I did yesterday in the cold with no jacket, and it's 50 degrees outside, and his pants are hanging down his butt, and he has no coat, and he's standing there with no books, and he's waiting on the bus stop, I feel like somehow I failed or I've not done enough. And so I feel like, okay, what can I be doing? What do I need to do? And so my mind is always rushing. Okay, we need to do a clothing bank. We need to do a food bank. We need to do a coat drive. So that's what we do. So currently we've got 5 initiatives going on right now. We have a gloves, hat, and coat drive going on. We have a Thanksgiving basket going on. We have a clothing drive all going on right now at our church, and I hit them over the head, and they get tired of me begging them every Sunday. We're having this drive and that drive. We bring homeless to our church. We bring men from the halfway houses. We bring people from the shelters. We come in, and sometimes they smell, but guess what? Sometimes our attitudes stink worse than the smell from the homeless. Later in life, after being frustrated because a lot of times it's like the Titanic, it's not changing. And then sometimes it's thankless. And then you go home and you feel defeated. And a friend of mine about 10 years ago said you have to enjoy the fight. Said you have to learn how to enjoy the fight for the fight's sake. Because I was, this is my DNA. And my DNA is to, if I see injustice, I can't walk. I can't walk on the other side. I can't see somebody laying there and walk on the other side, regardless of their color, their hue, their creed. So I have to learn how to enjoy the fight, even if it doesn't turn out the way I want it to turn out. You can make a difference. First of all, find the cause, find someone else to serve. Stop thinking about just yourself. You can have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Y, and then you'll focus on that you don't have Z. Appreciate what you do have from A to Y. Forget about Z, and then think about giving to somebody else. And if you give to somebody else and you serve somebody else, then God will bless you and give you desires of your heart.